everybody? Your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen. We got a great show for you today. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Wayne Kotow, joining us to celebrate his what they call retirement. We'll see what that looks like really this year. But we got Wayne with us today, and it's Deckhand Sports Friday. We always talk about Deckhand Sports products on Friday, and because of Deckhand Sports, we're able to do this show every Friday. Without our great sponsors, we can't do any of this. So I want to thank Deckhand Sports and all the other sponsors. Thank you all very, very much. And gang, we're going to try to go through as many of your comments as we can today to celebrate all the hard work that Wayne has done for us. He's done this tirelessly, day in and day out for us, gang. Yeah, and it benefits Wayne, but he's never got to take any of the benefits because he's worked so hard he couldn't go fishing. So now he's going to get to go fishing a little bit. But Wayne, from the bottom of my heart and Kelly's heart, I just want to thank you because there is nobody that can replace you. No one has the passion. We hope that we can all get together and do what you've done for us over the last 10 years. But my goodness, my friend, you have done a ton, and I want to thank you, and I think everybody here today wants to thank you from the bottom of their heart. You're going to get a lot of love today, buddy.
I appreciate that, Dave, and everybody out there. You know, it's something of passion, as Dave says. We don't do it because we're trying to get rich here. Trust me. Nobody's getting rich in this business. But
yeah,
you know what? If we don't work on it, if we all don't work together, if we don't all keep fighting, we'll lose it all. They will take it all.
It's pretty sad that there's a they involved in this, right?
Yeah.
But
get the information out. Use saltwater, your saltwater guide and other platforms that we have available to us. It's how we're going to get you all involved and keep you involved in what we're trying to do.
Yeah, gang, and there's a lot of stuff every single day coming down the pipe that Wayne has been working on so hard behind the scenes. He would love to have the ability to tell you about all the different things that have been going on behind the scenes, but that would take up all year because every day there's a whole bunch of new bullets flying in from every direction. And look at all the love coming through here on the comments, Wayne. It's incredible.
Hey, I see John asking that very same question, right? What is your greatest accomplishment? God, you know what? There's a handful of them, right? I mean, the 365 license, 9 failed attempts by others to get it. We got it on the 10th try. We got the application to be able to show your license on your phone and update. We got the auto renewal in there. We have the Cow-Cod Conservation Area open. After 20 years of closure, we got it deemed rebuilt. We got the Cow-Cod Conservation open. And now we're going to be working on trying to get a bag limit for it, right? But it's got to be slow so we don't get ourselves in that same position. We have, things with bluefin. We were able to keep a bag limit on that with our conservation partners and our coalition partners. There's just all of these things that we've been able to. We fought 30 by 30 originally and kept it out, right? We were the ones that built the coalitions and fought that in the legislature. And it has come through as an executive order, and now it has a statute behind it, but it's not what they were trying to do, which was 100% shut us down. So there's all these things that are in our core. We've been pushing off on so many regulations, with different fish and fisheries and management styles and things that have come down. We've done a lot. And guys, CCA Cal is on the map. We represent you, the recreational angler. We've proven that and shown that at all levels of government and are recognized for the efforts. So yeah, I feel that those are some big accomplishments for us.
Yeah, that 365-day license was huge for so many of us that don't live there but still resident there, and then come up there and we only fish in, say, January, or we only fish in the first couple weeks of December. To think you're buying a fishing license for a year, but you can only use it for 4 or 5 days in December, and then you got to buy another one in January. What you did, what you were able to accomplish on that alone was monumental. It was just so bitching. And then to have the app you can go and get the license on now and the whole thing, and then auto renewal, because I don't know how many times I had guys panicking in January when the fishing game's pulling up to us and they're like, oh, I forgot to renew. I'm like, get down in the galley right now and get online and start buying the license. Now you got 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Go.
Well, now you can do it if you have internet access. If you have the app on your phone, you can just hit it and do it. It's that simple. And you can show your license on your phone. It downloads even if you don't have cellular access, right? So there's a lot of positives to where we're going. And we're working with the department still to try to figure out what to do with that app going forward. Should we be able to do report cards through it? Should we be able to find a map of what's legal, where you're at? If you have your GPS turned on, you should be able to hit a map and say, hey, this is legal to fish right here. You know, there's all these things that we're trying to work on. Can you download the regs right into the app? Things like that. So there's all these things. And if you have ideas, get them to Chris Arechidera. He's my new executive director. He's going to be pushing it forward from now, and get a hold of them and let them start the list to get it to the CCA staff.
Right. Yeah. Chris is an amazing man, and he's going to step in there and try to be Wayne. I don't think there is any other Waynes out there, but Chris is a great human being, and we're happy to have him as part of the CCA family, and we'll stand behind him and help him as much as we possibly can. Moving forward, though, I know you're telling everybody you're retired, but really you're not gonna be fully retired, right? You're still gonna be helping behind the scenes as much as you possibly can.
I'm still very passionate about what we do within this industry and, you know, this kind of stuff, right? I'm retired as of Jan 1, but here I am, Dave. I'm still going to be going to shows. I just won't have to work a booth full time, and I'm not responsible for working the booth or managing the booth or paying for the booth, you know? So
Right.
there's a whole lot to that, Dave. Let me tell you, it's kind of a nice feeling. I don't know what it's like to walk a fishing show without working it.
Right.
It'll be a new experience. I'm going to like it, I think.
Without having that shirt on, you can actually go up and have conversations, and they're not all blaming you for everything that's going on.
I wear this shirt proudly, though, Dave. I'm still a life member, and I will consistently wear a CCA Cal shirt. You know what I mean? It's just, I believe in it. I believe in the cause. It has nothing to do with me being an employee. So
No, I got you. I know what you mean. You just had a fun. Why don't we talk a little bit? You just got to go fishing. You just got to go on the RP and do a nice 8-day trip. What was that like?
It was relaxing, actually. I was the charter master for the Let's Talk Hookup crowd and crew, thanks to Pete. And this was they changed our dates on it. So we were right before Christmas. We were the last trip before Christmas. We were on an 8-day. We headed out. Well, there was wind. You guys got kicked off. Well, they got kicked off the water up here. But as we were going south, it got a little bit better. And going south with the wind isn't bad, downswell. We steamed for a day. The second day, we ran into a little bit of yellowfin tuna. We put 100 fish on the boat. We steamed farther because we hadn't hit our destination yet. We steamed the next day, and we put a few miscellaneous fish on the boat. We got down to an area that we wanted to hit. We put 200 fish on the boat. We had to stop people multiple times to clear the deck because it was just crazy. It was mayhem. And we're talking some bigger fish, some 70 to 100-pound fish, and they were stacked on the deck. So stopped a few times, but we got our fill on that, and then we ran into another day. We ran into some yellowtail, put another 100 on the boat, and then we went after some miscellaneous. We got into sheep's head, lingcod, bass, other species. It was a great trip, great people. I've never met any of these people, so it was a brand new charter. They were very excited. They loved all the prizes and the giveaways. We did a white elephant. We did a Rolo raffles. We did different daily raffles. Just had fun the whole time. And what a great crew on that boat. Captain and crew Trevin took care of us, and everybody in the galley with Pearl and Chris and all the deckhands. I mean, I just love the boat. I love the platform. I love the operation. So, can't say enough about it. But how do you go wrong with that platform to sit on and just do everything that you want to do fishing wise? It spoils you, Dave. It really does.
Oh, yeah. We just had the guy that was on that boat for 35 years on the podcast, and now he's got a new boat he's on, the Royal Star. Roy Rose was with us talking about all the fun times he had working for Frank on the Royal, and then getting the keys to get to run the Royal back when he was 27 years old. Pretty amazing history Roy has with that boat, and then all the great stories and all the great people that have been a part of that for so long. And then you to get to go at the last week of your employment right before you retire to go and celebrate, go out there with all those people and meet and greet, and be a part of, and just be an ambassador for this industry, which is so near and dear to our hearts. Thank you for everything you do. Again, there's so many comments flying, and we got a giant audience right now. We had 75 people watching on Facebook alone right now. This is insane, Wayne. There's so many people out there that just want to thank you for everything you've done. And I think this new format, any of you guys that are watching, if you like this new format, we're trying a new format today. Elliot's here running this, and I think everybody really enjoys this because of the way it looks on their cell phone. So let us know what y'all think, and keep the comments coming. Elliot will keep bringing them up. Wayne can see them, gang. So
yeah, somebody's asking about lobster regs. Right now, lobster's looking good. I don't see any lobster regs on the horizon right now, other than maybe tagging on your ropes and nets. You know, the rope and the tag end of that side of it. There's a little bit of talk going on right now. They're trying to standardize that between that and the crab fishery up north. So that's good. Things that I'm worried about. I'm always worried about a lot of stuff, guys. 30 by 30 is still on the horizon. We don't have an answer for that. They're just going through the decision-making process. We're trying to get the national marine sanctuaries qualified, so that'll take the pressure off. We don't understand why it shouldn't be or isn't already done. So there's that. The MPA decadal review is still going on. We just got through, or we're going through petition 1 process. Hopefully that all is going to work in our favor, because the process that we're doing with the petitions, the department's recommendations came through, and the Department of Fishing, or the Fish and Game Commission, approved them for petition 1s, and now we're going to go through petition 2. But if it stays that same methodology and decision-making process, we should be okay. So all that worry about what's going on in Point Loma, Laguna Hills, and other areas should not come to fruition, because it doesn't meet the requirements of the adaptive management process that was laid out by them. So we're there. The National Marine Sanctuary, unfortunately, did get designated. Nothing we could do, except we were able to not have fishing regulations as part of it. So it is designated from the base of pretty much from Morro Bay all the way down to Goleta. So that's the 3rd largest National Marine Sanctuary in our country. Right now, no fishing regulations additionally in there. And there's overlap with MPAs and other things in there. Groundfish, we are still constantly fighting on that. All of our coalition partners, SAC included, are fighting on the groundfish regulation side. That's with the feds, with National Marine Fisheries Service, Pacific Fisheries Management Council. So we're working on the CDFW with that. So those are 3 of the big ones. We're still working on our hatchery program. That's a big thing for us. I'm still on the advisory panel, co-chair of that. Right now, we're working on a scientific advisory committee report with genetics. We're trying to figure out how we're going to get through that. It is funded. We did get that. And then the hatchery got additional funding this last year, approved, so they won't be stranglehold as bad as it has been historically. So we're making progress. We have until 2027 to get back to the legislature on AB 1949 to update the legislature on the success of the hatchery program. So that's a big thing. CCA Cal is working on redoing their habitat committee, and we'll see where the new management on that it goes going forward. So hopefully that shows some progress in the future, because if we don't fix habitat, we don't have additional areas for our fish, right? And then the biggest push right now, guys, is water quality. And I've been saying it for the last 9.5 years, that if we do not fix our water quality from sewer and sewage, raw sewage releases, all the nitrogen being released, if we do not fix that, it doesn't matter what boundaries you put around an MPA or a 30 by 30, the habitat and the environment is getting killed. The pollution, the plastics, all of that, we're the enemy. So if we don't fix that issue or those issues, it doesn't matter. Everything's going to get killed by it. And that's what we're seeing right now, the ramifications, because of the amount of people they have put in California and the amount of sewage being released every day. We can't, the Mother Nature can't handle it anymore. It's past capacity. And now they're starting to see reports that say it's going out all the way 100 miles. They're seeing results from that. So we need to just keep working on it. These are all big issues. The problem is when we work within fisheries management, those agencies are too far downstream. It's a bigger issue, and we're trying to get others to help us with that in the legislatures at fed and state levels.
Okay, since you opened the door and you came flying in, this is what retirement sounds like, everybody.
I can't turn it all off. You know that.
There's
It's still
nobody,
in there spinning around, Dave.
there's no one that has more passion for this thing than Wayne does, gang. If you ever had an opportunity to sit down and eat a meal with him, it is absolutely mind-numbing the amount of stuff coming down the pipe every single day that Wayne's had his finger on or had his hand on or had his whole body as a part of this thing. So yeah, it's going to be almost impossible to shut it all off. I got a question for you, though. We never talk about this. I guess the hardest word to say in the fishing industry, and I don't see anybody talk about it ever. California sea lion.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not an easy answer. Again, we got to wait for political changes because right now we just don't have the votes to fight it. There are some things that are in play right now that I can't really talk about because there are other groups that have more pull with the feds or don't have the stranglehold of the feds, the leash that we're trying to work with to try to get some things done. And hopefully we can get positive results from that over time. So unfortunately, that's not an easy answer. It's just because they have the protection right now. We got to work on that. They need to be managed, that the protection isn't necessary. They are not endangered anymore. The proof that everything's healthy is look at the amount there are right now. They're overpopulated in my eyes. So we need to work on that. That answer for the people coming out that live up north, the Canadian geese that come down, it's kind of the opposite effect, right? How do you control them? You can't take them back over the border. They just come back. So how do you control the population over time?
Well, I've been talking about it. I've been posting lots of videos. It's time to start spade and neutering them like we do our cats and our dogs. I mean, I know we're never going to get to a point where we can actually exterminate them, but if we could all get on board with the spade and neutering, that would help tremendously. Because, like Wayne just said, there is no lack of. So it's not going to cause a lack of animals. You're never going to spade and neuter every one of them.
But we do the same thing with our cats and dogs. We love our cats and dogs, but we understand that we have to control their population. So what's the difference? And we're not saying spade and neuter every one of them. We're saying that as they take them in and they have to rehabilitate the ones that are hurt, and we're going to rehabilitate anyway, you have them right there. It's a slow process, but it's a meaningful process over time. I see John asking about the LA South area and how to get involved. If you're a member already, go up to our website and you can get Chris Arechidera's contact info. It's chrisa@ccacalifornia.org. Email him and he can get you involved with the chapter that you want to get involved in. South LA is being run by Robbie Gant at AFCO. So that's entirely an easy process. Anybody that needs to get a hold of Chris, he is the new executive director, chrisa@ccacalifornia.org.
And Chris is very approachable, gang, and you guys will enjoy working with him. And everybody that's listening and watching, and I don't care where you're at, across the United States, we have such a mass audience across the United States, Australia, New Zealand. Gang, it's been known for a long time. The rest of the world goes whichever way California goes, and it's unfortunate. So if you don't think that this closure thing that's going on and all these things that they're doing to stop recreational fishing is going to affect you, you're highly mistaken. That's why CCA Texas and CCA Florida, Wayne and I at ICAST last year, we went over to I went with you. The booth they have is just mind-boggling, and the amount of people they have hanging out in there. And we have more people here. Why are we not more involved, you guys? We all need to get involved. It just blows our minds. Texas and Florida are getting this, and they're full on supporting CCA. We need the rest of us to get involved, is all I can say. Is we all need to be involved. When Wayne brought this thing to attention to me 5 years ago and said, Dave, you got a big mouth, you need to help us, then I was in full speed because I didn't even know people would listen to me. Now look at, we have 800,000 followers. We got a podcast everybody listens to, and I'm begging for all of you to help us. We need as much help as we can possibly We can't have enough help. Like Mike Lump said the other day on our show, we're past the point of asking. We're at the point now where we're begging. We need all of you to help us, for gosh sakes, gang. What I got turned on to yesterday by my sister, and Wayne, I'm telling you, I couldn't even sleep last night. My stomach's still in knots. I'm still kind of shaken. It is terrifying, that part of the thing. And I know we were going to spend the whole show thanking you. Let's show this commercial for Deckhand Sports real quick, and then we'll get on to what I just was talking about. How's that sound? Can you play that commercial, Wayne? Elliot? Hello? Anybody? Here we go.
I just got my first
I got
elk.
it.
And we're using a Deckhand coffin kill bag. And I'm gonna tag it right now.
Whoops.
This is the new Deckhand Sports Coffin Kill Bag, the 225L. And as you can see, Rylan just got his first elk. He's super excited. We quartered this entire 550-pound elk, and it fits perfectly right inside of here. These kill bags aren't just for fish, they're for all game, whether it's fish or big game animals such as deer or elk. Hope you enjoy.
Gang,
It's a nice bag.
check out that bag, Deckhand Sports bag. We've showed you plenty of commercials on here. We'll show you another little one in a little bit. But check the bag out because you can use it for pretty much everything. That's the new coffin. You pump that thing up. It's absolutely spectacular. It rolls up just like the normal kill bags. Here we go. Here you go. You can see this right here, right now. Watch this, Elliot. I got this. Look at that, gang. Pump it right up. There you go, the coffin kill bag. That thing is an unbelievable accessory to all the other phenomenal products over at Deckhand Sports. You use the QR code right there. You'll save 15% on the product. You get it drop shipped straight to your house, saving 15%. Or while you're leaving on your way out the door, if you're not seeing this, if you're listening to it, put in the code YSWG and the number 15 as you're checking out, and you'll save 15% on all Deckhand Sports products. And there is a plethora of products over there. So check it all out. And back to what we were talking about, Wayne, what's coming down the pipe right now is probably, I'm going to just lay this out there for everybody. This industry, from the long range part to the fish in the eye, everything, this industry was built around the barred sandbass and barracuda. That was what was targeted in the 40s, 50s, 60s. If you look at our fleet of sport boats, there's nothing like it on the planet Earth. This is the only place that has the fleet. This fleet was brought to you by the barred sandbass and the barracuda, gang. That's what built this industry. That's what brought Bill Pull, Frank Lopresti, all the big names in the industry all started out working on the half day, the 3/4 day boats, catching sand bass and barracuda. We are at a tipping point right now, gang, that has me scared to death because there is somebody that's working so hard that it can't even comprehend how hard they're working to close what has been the lifeblood of our industry. And I'm sorry, there is no shortage of this fish. There has never been a shortage of this fish. This is a migratory fish that comes up from Mexico. We have not been in the cycle where this fish comes into California for at least 10 years. I'm looking back 20 plus years till the cycle was really the cycle. We have a cycle going on right now that's a cold water cycle that we haven't seen since 2014. We're going to see this fish come pouring into our waters this year. And there's a proposal right now. And if we don't all wake up and get involved and show up at these meetings and quit sucking our thumbs, and I don't care, I'm talking about every landing owner, every sport boat owner, every deckhand, every single human being that makes a living in the sport fishing industry, from selling a hook to driving a boat. we got to get involved, because when that fish leaves and we're not allowed to catch it anymore, I don't know, Wayne. I'm so pissed right now, or so not even pissed. I don't want to say pissed. I'm just so scared that they're going to take this fish away from us. And this is going to be the year that they come back. This is our first cold water year in a very, very long time. There is a young lady that's spearheading this, and she's the same young lady that took our sandbass, calico bass, and spotted bay bass from 12 inches to 14 inches and from 10 to 5 on the exact same day, and said all three of those fish are under the exact same pressure at the exact same time, which is not true by any stretch of the imagination. This is another emotional closure, strictly done by emotions. And I'm sorry, but I can't even sleep. Kelly was wondering, why are you up? Because I started to think back to sitting down with my dad and talking about how he paid for Dana Wharf San Clemente Sportfishing, fishing off the San Clemente Pier, the clam beds, and all the days of fishing, pushing the boat off the side of the pier and going to a place called B of A and dropping the anchor and catching sand bass as many as you want, as fast as you want, because we were in that cycle. And then also, gang, the bait. We've been using sardines for bait for so long, because everybody, not because there's a lack of sardines or a lack of anchovies, it's because people got used to fishing with sardines. It's hard to get a 14-inch sand bass to eat an 8-inch sardine. So to use our sport fishing boat fish count to set the standard for how many fish you can catch, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. I'm sorry, Wayne. I had to talk about it.
It's okay, Dave. I understand the passion. We are all very passionate about it. We've been working on it with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, so everybody has a background. What's going on is the Department of Fish and Wildlife came to a working group of us to talk about barred sand bass, and they came with a certain story and certain slides and best available science, and they had some trend charts. But we've been able to counter all of those charts to say that their best available science isn't telling the whole story. So we thought we had an agreement where we said, look, you're missing some data. You don't understand. This is a cyclical species. It's going to come back. In fact, we've already started to see the signs of it this year, where we had massive amounts, that we are not the largest area, or we're at the top of the range of sand bass. They go all the way down the Baja coast. In fact, we saw them 500 miles south thick. You couldn't get away from them. So, but they only are in charge of regulating over the border. And what they're claiming is that the spawning stock in the areas north of our border are not showing the signs of recruitment. And what we're saying is that's not true. You just aren't there when that happens. And you don't know the breadth, the size, or anything of the species, because you just don't have enough of the data. So why don't we take a chill pill, let this thing happen, because we're going to need more data. You do not have a stock assessment. So you're claiming that we're taking too many fish out of the spawning stock aggregate, but you don't know the size of the pool. If you don't know the size of the pool, how do you know what's the maximum sustainable yield available to take out of that species? And these are the things that we talk about day in and day out within fisheries management. They're trying to regulate us through our demand, what we take out, without knowing the supply side of the equation. Anybody in any industry knows that model doesn't work. Proven, statistically proven wrong, multiple times over, multiple industries, including our own. The model doesn't work. It will give you a spread. It gives you a trend, but you can't say that that is the answer all the time. It is just a trend. But the trend in this case is very, very cyclical, like Dave is saying. This species, barred sand bass, follow the trend of the cold water. We are in a transition of warm water to cold water. We all know what happened during the warm water period. It started in 2015. The warm water blob happened and everything got moved. Everything shifted all the way up to Oregon and Washington. Well, we're all the way on the receding side of that. You guys may not know it, but you starting to see the cycle of the squid coming in. The spawns right now are phenomenal. The grunion coming in. The shift between sardine and anchovy at the dock. These are all trends that we see, along with brown baits coming in. Barracuda, skipjack, barracuda, all bonita, all of those are trends that we go through. So people that have been on the water, like Dave, myself, and others who've been on the water for so long, know these cycles, and we don't panic over them. We manage through them. But right now, you have a bunch of younger managers coming in who don't know the history, that don't have those trends, who don't have that knowledge base, and that's what they're running off of, is this emotional, the sky is falling. There's nothing further from the truth right now. Trust me, everybody, we in an organization, in our industry, we wholeheartedly believe in responsible and sustainable outdoor recreation. When we see there's a problem, we will take the hits and close things down or regulate them so that we don't get into a conservation problem, a sustainability problem. We want a future. But there is no way that our current fleet is going to overfish that stock to the point of depletion like they're claiming. It's just not possible, not with a hook and line. So not with a small amount of fleet. Our fleet keeps shrinking, guys. The amount of passengers on our fleet keeps shrinking. So we don't even have the numbers to do it if we wanted to. So there's a whole lot of things that we're trying to push on the water. We're trying to push common sense, calm people down. The sky isn't falling, but we put a proposal out that was agreed upon between our working group, bless you, Dave, and the department. And we went to the Fish and Game Commission, and the Fish and Game Commissioners threw it out. And they want to do heavy-handed, possibly closures of sand bass during the summer months. That will kill the fleet. That will kill you. That hurts the underserved communities, the disadvantaged community, which people are using these species for sustenance fishing. It's so unfair. They do not have enough data to prove that they are right. Here's where I say, okay, we need your help. We need your help to write the Fish and Game Commission. They don't have a stock assessment, which they absolutely need to do, so that they can tell you how big the pot, the pool of stock is. So then you can put other numbers behind it. So without that pot, here's a good question. If they want to shut this species down, what is the conservation number that they have to hit for this to be right, for them to get to a number to be sustainable in their eyes? Ask them that question, because that right now, if they don't have a full pot and know how much is being taken out, how do you know how much you need to conserve to protect the future? See, the whole logic of math and science do not work here. And if it's not math and science, then it's emotional. Why are they so pinned on this one species that the sky is falling without knowing the truth? Why? And that's what we keep trying to get back to. So trying to fight an emotional argument in our eyes with math and science, you can't convince people. So now we have to go and change that conversation. And that's where we're at right now.
And
got on a soapbox.
No, it's okay. I was talking with somebody very near and close to me last night. Wayne knows exactly who it is. And what we need, gang, all of you out there that are listening to this right now, somebody needs to know the governor of the state of California. Somebody in somebody's group that's watching this show has a way to get to this guy. We believe in our hearts that Mr. Newsom does not want to shut down recreational fishing. We believe that there is some entities inside of his administration that he's not even, because he has so many other problems. There's so many other problems going on that we think if somebody is listening right now and can talk to somebody who knows somebody that can talk to him, if we let him know what they're trying to do right now, we believe that he will stop it. We really do. No matter what you think of the guy, we think that there is a chance, because we don't think he wants to destroy the industry. But this sand bass, for all of you to understand, has zero commercial value in California. It's never been commercially fished. You're not going to go to a restaurant and buy a piece of sand bass. You're not. It's not going to happen. If somebody got caught selling sand bass, holy moly, you're going to a federal penitentiary. You cannot sell commercially, and you can't commercially fish sand bass. So to think for 1 second that Wayne and I are that good of fishermen that we're going to go out on our boat, and let's just pretend like something happened and we could fish 365 days. There was no weather, there's nothing, and Wayne and I could go and we could fish every single spot on your saltwater guide membership Let's say we could fish all 1,300 spots every single day with our fishing pole. Wayne and I cannot affect the population of the sand bass. It's impossible. It's just
1,825 fish at the 5 bag limit. That's it per person.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That's
so
nothing.
This whole thing is put together emotionally, gang, and it's just going to take one of you to just help us. Like Wayne said, and I said, we need help. We need help to help you. You don't even know you need the help right now, but we need to stop this. It is super important to our industry, gang. And Wayne, you know, our sport fishing industry is barely hanging on as it is, with all the regulations and the cost of fuel and the cost of maintenance and the cost of keeping your boat tied to a dock. We really, really cannot afford another closure, especially of a fish that's so important in the history of the fish. I could bring on all the sport boat captains that have been doing this for 30 plus years, and they'll all tell you it all started with the sand bass spawn. It all started with the sand bass in the mud, and that's where the passion came from. And that's when they decided they wanted to be a captain. And we're so close to losing that, gang. And they want to close it to a no take, zero, not a one. They want to take it to zero. How is that an answer?
Yeah. We already have proof and a lot of history about the problem with the stock and their models. Now, let's ask another question, and this is just for common sense basis, right? Where's the accountability? Where is their skin in the game with everything that's going on? The people that are asking about doing these regulations, the people that are voting for these regulations, do they have any skin in the game? Because what they're doing to you and me and the fleet does have a cost, right? So if they are right, then they hit their benefits. But if they're wrong, there's nothing against them. There's nothing. But if they're wrong, all of us get hurt for nothing, for no reason. But there's no accountability to a decision being made here, right? So again, if you believe this is the problem, what conservation benefit threshold needs to get hit, and where is that timeline for recovery? If you don't have those numbers, how do you know success? We went into regulation changes, 14 inches and a 5 bag limit in 2015. But anybody remember 2015 is when the warm water blob happened and everything shifted, right? So we haven't had the cycle come back. So how do you know that those changes that we all worked on so hard for conservation benefit and sustainability aren't working? You don't know the result because 10 years we haven't had the cycle come back for those to take effect. They're just claiming it didn't work. Well, nothing worked because everything moved, everything shifted, right? You haven't given it a chance. And here's another example. Remember when we put the MPAs in and they said we're going to do a 5-year review on those? And we all waited for the 5-year review and they said, oh, we're going to have to push it to 10 years because guess what? They didn't have the benefits of those results. So they pushed it to a 10-year cycle. And what did they claim? They're claiming all of these successes. But it's not a claim of success for biodiversity. They haven't shown any biodiversity increases. They showed biomass increases. They said, oh, we have this other problem of the spillover effect for lobster. But the lobster is because they're probably overpopulated because there's nobody taking them inside the MPAs and they got to go eat. So they're leaving. So that spillover effect may be happening, but that's okay. It would have happened. But that's a control of stock. It's a control of management efforts, right? So where is the success and how do you prove it is such a big factor. How do we get them and hold them accountable to management efforts that they are putting on us when the fishermen are telling them the signs are changing, we are going to see those benefits happen. If you want a good example of that, check out what happened with grunion. They put a regulation change on the stock on the take of grunion based on no science, citizen observation data only, and didn't listen to us that cycle was going to shift back and we could never get to a stock crash because we don't have enough people that actually can get to them for one. We go out and watch them, but we don't collect them. And when a couple of people that may collect them are probably eating them, and that's fine, or using them for bait, no problem. It's not enough to kill a stock. Most of us can't even get to those beaches because they're closed after 10 p.m. or they're in state or other areas that are closed to us after hours. We could never get to those grunion if we wanted to. We don't net them. We don't seine them. So where is this problem? Yet they forced the regulation change down on citizen observation only. For what? What's the point? And guess what? We just had one of the best grunion runs in the last 15 or 20 years. Just happened this last summer. It's cyclical. So that's what we're talking about. Listen to the people on the water. We know better. We know it's coming.
It's totally cyclical, but there's a handful of people in the administration that are just drunk with power, gang. And it's just going to take one of us that has a way to talk to the governor and says, hey, look at, this is not right. This is done emotionally. And I just sent you a little table that my sister sent me, Elliot. If you want to throw that up, it's on your WhatsApp. But the grunion thing, the sandbass thing, all these things that they're doing, there's no commercial fishery for the grunion. There's no commercial fishery for the sandbass. This is a total emotionally driven thing directed directly at people that enjoy the act of fishing. That it's an attack on us is what it is, gang. For lack of a better word, I'm sorry, but somebody's sisters, brothers, aunts, cousin told them that guy with the fishing pole or a child going out fishing is wrong. That's the only thing that's driving this. And to be what Wayne was saying a little while ago, how the numbers have dwindled on the sport boats and the numbers have dwindled. This is the sandbass. This is the provisionary sunset regulation options that we've been handed down. This is kind of like with nothing really, no science behind it. Those numbers are ridiculous, right, Wayne?
Yeah. The conservation benefits that they're using is historically, if we took it based on what the sport boat catches are, because those are all published, right? If they don't fish, that's what the savings will be. That's what they're claiming. Okay, so those few fish that they're claiming are going to be the conservation benefit. If you put those back, we asked specifically to the department and the regulator, if you put those back and do not catch them, what conservation benefit do you expect to have? What number? And they cannot answer that. They can't answer it. They can't. There's no way for them to predict that.
And then that
few fish that we're talking about is going to be the turning point of this species.
So let me break it down so that everyone out here can understand what we're talking about. This sandbass, this barred sandbass, this is what the industry was built on. But here's how it looks as a captain. Now, here's how it used to be. The sport boats would leave the harbor at 6 o'clock in the morning. There would be 7, 8, or 9 of us, okay? One guy would pick, I'm going to go down in 10 fathoms. One boat would go down in 11 fathoms. One boat would go down in 12 fathoms. One boat would go down in 14 fathoms. One boat would go down in 15. One would go down in 20. We'd come down the coast, okay? Because Dana Point down to Oceanside, that's the clam beds area. We would all look together as a group, come down and look and scan. You can't see sandbass with binoculars. You can't see sandbass jumping out of the water. You're only going to see them on the fish finder, the photometer, and they're going to be in the mud. They're not on any structure. They're in the sand, gang. And then when we locate them, and we would, then boats from LA would come all the way down to San Clemente. Boats from San Diego would come all the way up to San Clemente. We don't have that luxury anymore. We don't have the passengers. We don't have the sport boats. Like Wayne said, our whole fleet has dwindled down. We don't have the passenger count. We don't have the ability to go look. That whole thing has left the building. Then you get to Oceanside, you don't have 7, 8 boats like when Dick Helgren owned Oceanside Landing, and then they come out and they all work their way up the coast, and we would come out of Dana Point, work our way down the coast. The Newport boats, the Freelance and the Patriot and all those guys would come down and would help us look, and we'd all look and we'd all scan with our sonars and our photometers, and we'd look and then we'd locate what depth the fish were in, and then, yeah, we would catch them. None of that happens anymore. So what I'm trying to explain to you, gang, is this is all done emotionally. There's no one looking for this fish anymore. There's not. You can't have the Sun Fund go down there and cover all those fathom lines and be able to cover all that area. And the other boat, he's going out to Catalina because he's got to catch something, and the other boat's going to the rock cod ground. So you got one boat looking. He's not going to find them, gang. And then you got nobody coming up from the south looking. So we're not having any coverage. So to think that there's no sand bass, well, you can't throw 8-inch baits at them either. There's a whole bunch of scenarios that matter in this whole thing, gang. I'm telling you, it's all emotional, but I'm just trying to let everybody know it's not a fish that can be easily identified jumping out of the water and you can go, oh, they're right there. You got to know what you're looking for. It's just, there's so many factors to this that matter. And we all got to wake up. And this meeting in February is really, people go, oh, we got till April for, nope, they're going to make this decision in February. We all need to be there. We all need to go. We need to not raise a ruckus, not cause
You can
problems.
do it online, Dave. The Fish and Game Commission meetings are online through the CalSpan app.
Oh,
So-
I know. I waited for 3 hours the last
Yeah.
time.
I know, but not everybody can afford to go to Sacramento because all the meetings for at least the first 6 months because of budget cuts are all in Sacramento, and it's not cheap to get up there and stay up there. Trust me, I know. So if you can't afford to do it and you can't afford to be there all day, you can at least get online. There is a way to do it. Dave, there's 2 questions that have come up that I want to answer.
Yeah,
One has to do with abalone. The abalone have been closed, right, since the late 90s, early 2000s. That started with the whites and the blacks, went to the greens. We shut the reds down, 3 or 4 years ago. We tried to open a de minimis fishery up in Northern California. I honestly believe that should have happened. We got sidelined by the law enforcement group saying they couldn't enforce it, which is just sad to me because that's why we have zones. But we need to rework that one. I think somebody needs to file another petition on that. But we got to get more science data on that to show that they are not a problem in Northern California. And we should open up a de minimis fishery for red abalone. That's my belief. It's just one of those things. They're fine there. We need to wait for other cycles to come back. The cold water cycle will help the kelp if we can get the water unpolluted and cleaned up so the kelp can grow back, and then other things will come back, right? We're already starting to see the starfish. The starfish are already starting to come back up and down the coastline. We're seeing the oysters and clams and all that starting to come back. But we got to worry about sea urchin, barrens for the abalone to come back, right? So those are things that are happening right now. It's going to take time. What was the other question? Somebody had another one. Where is it? I don't see it now. But there was another question. Hopefully somebody can post it back up on something else they wanted to ask us about. But the abalone one, that one's a long-term thing, kind of like our cow cod. It's not going to be a simple one, but we're going to work on it. I do believe that people need to help us with cow tip also on the marine side. If you see somebody doing something stupid and illegal, document it. Right now, if you go to the Cal Tip, there's an app that you can download to your phone. We all have our cell phones. The first thing we do is we start videos on everybody. If somebody's doing something illegal and poaching, we need to get them off the water because those hurt all of our conservation efforts. Everything that we're doing gets counted off by those people. And what happens is that gets used against us, right? Because they highlight that. And then the people that are driven to fight us, that gets used against us. So we need to get those people off the water ASAP so that can stop. We need to start setting that precedent that is not tolerated in our fishery. We all need to work on that. Lisa or somebody is saying what we need to explain what they are doing and why. I'm not sure what that was for. Anyways, so those are a couple things that I know that we're working on, Dave. Halibut. They came after us for a reg change on halibut, California halibut. We were able to fight that one off. We're waiting for them to publish their white paper on a stock assessment on halibut. The last time they did this, they got slapped because the stock assessment wasn't validated. So this time they went through the strokes to do it. They went and put a group together to do a third party to validate their white paper on the stock assessment. We believe it came out positive, and the sky hasn't fallen on that one. But that was another one. They tried to use data on us to say the sky has fallen on California halibut, and there's nothing further from the truth. We can't overfish them, Dave. Think about it. MPAs are preventing us from getting into where they're hiding, right? We don't fish those areas. We don't have access to those areas, especially during the spawn. We can't get into those estuary areas and all that area. So there's no way that it could ever happen, or they're lying about the success of the MPAs, right? It's going to be one or the other, but they're claiming both sides of that coin. So it's very frustrating. But anyways, I get back off my soapbox.
It's absolutely ridiculous, gang. Another thing, when Wayne was with me on Don Hansen Day on May 15th, and we were out on the Helena, and you got carte blanche to be on this one this year. We love having you with us, so hopefully you make that trip with us, Wayne. But you and I were talking about how they came back to you and said, hey, you know what? Maybe we could put a little deal on the bottom saying that we're going to allow the sea urchin divers to come back into the MLPs to start to harvest the sea urchins, because the kelp's not growing because the sea urchins are eating all the holdfasts. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. No. You guys did this with no science. Reap the benefits, right?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of two-sided arguments here, right? I got to tell you, if we want to go back to the sea lion issue, let's talk about otters. U.S. Fish and Wildlife is talking about trying to repopulate otters on the West Coast, down the coastline. Okay, so we already have a population issue of sea lions and seals, and now you want to put another species out there that's going to hurt the environment, the ecosystems, the balance. Okay, what do otters eat, right? Bottom, crustaceans, all the mussel, the crab, all of that stuff, right? Okay, if they're eating all of that, who's protecting those species, and what's going to happen to those when those become overpopulated? Because who is going to manage the other species? This always comes down to that. Managing of species are important. And I think what we're going to find, and this is something everybody needs to watch the Monterey National Marine Sanctuary, where everything is protected, right? The otters are probably over their capacity of population in there right now. So let's see what the imbalance happens up there between sea lions, otters, and all the rest of the invertebrates that are up there. And let's see how that plays out in the next few years. Because I believe that there's going to be this imbalance, and they're going to be claiming a problem up there and then have to do something with that. Or if you're a preservationist, not a conservation, but a preservationist, then you say Mother Nature takes its course. There's winners and losers in that argument. But you can't play God after the fact, right? You can't have, or you shouldn't be able to have both ways. And that's the problem. If you're in that preservationist mentality that says everything needs to be preserved, but we shouldn't touch it, we shouldn't do anything, we shouldn't have to manage it, so be it. Stick to your guns. But then there's going to be winners and losers. And what's going to lose? Biodiversity, right, which is what they're trying to save. So we believe our processes are for the right reasons. We're using should be using the right tools to get there. We want to believe in letting the science tell the story. And that's exactly how we've always positioned this, right? Somebody just asked about sharks. Why did we tell people to stay off of the shark? Why did we say stop killing all the top predators? Because that's what manages the rest of these species, including sea lions and seals, right? That's what the sharks help us with. So if we leave those alone, because we were fishing them pretty hard for a while, not to the point of a problem, but to the point of we needed more of them at the top of the food chain to help our problem. That's why we went after that and said, calm down. Yes, it's legal to take certain species, but please try to stay off them because we need them. You need them if you want this to become back into more of an alignment, balance. So, last thing, Dave, somebody was asking me about my accomplishments. Descending devices. Descending devices was something that wasn't getting done in California, even though we started the whole descending device problem, issue or movement, and it got put in everywhere else except California. Go figure that. How is that from an environmental community standpoint, from a department regulation problem? Why didn't they just put it in? And they didn't. So we're the ones who filed the petition to get that regulation put on the books for groundfish. It's only going to help us in the future. It helps for the conservation and sustainability of our sport. People need to use them. They do work. There are numbers that prove it. It helps us with our regulation changes and our modeling, because there are benefits to descending fish. We don't want to waste any resources. That's never our goal. So descending device is another one that we did for our people, and that was a positive for all of us.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Wayne, is the descending device and releasing the copper rockfish and the quillbacks before the regulation was even put on us. You got the industry to all get together, and we were making videos, and we were putting the videos out on social media, showing us releasing these copper rockfish and showing us releasing the quillbacks and showing the descending device. And then it all got adopted. And we did, like you always say, we do our best to take care of our ocean, because that's where we make our living. Nobody cares more about it than the recreational fishermen, no matter what they want to paint us into the corner and look like.
Absolutely. And then, guys, if you ever have a chance to support Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea, I know you had Mike on here not too long ago, but you really need to help us out. That's our future. We do a lot of fundraising. That's our vehicle, our funding arm to get kids on the water, and it shows benefits over time. If we're not doing the protection, what are we doing the protections for if it's not for the future? And that's why we work so hard to support Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea. We do, Mike does so much. Mike and Tim and Howard and the rest of the team, they'll be at they'll be at some of the shows as much as they can, because they're all volunteers. And then, we try to raise money. We have different raffles on some of our charters, our boats. We do raffles or giveaways or things. And so please help support Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea.
Very, very good. Yep. So, but support CCA California. And this meeting that's coming up that we can all jump on the Zoom call for with the Fish and Wildlife, what's the date on that?
Hang on.
I'm sorry.
Next Fish and Game Commission meeting is February 12th and 13th up in Sacramento.
And we can all jump online, and
it's not a Zoom. It's their own. You can look on through CalSpan, and if you go up to the California Fishing Game website, it'll go under meetings, and there's a way to sign on to the meeting if you want to comment. Otherwise, you can just watch it through the CalSpan app online.
But you want to be involved, gang. It's super important to get involved. All of you that are watching today, you're all fishermen. You wouldn't be watching the show. We need your help. We're begging. I'm begging. Mike Lum's begging. I don't know if Wayne's begging yet, but we're begging. We need help. We got to get you guys involved. We need everybody involved, gang, or we're going to look up here real soon and go, God, remember back in the day when we used to be able to go fishing?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want that in my lifetime. Trust me. I'm not after all of this effort. We really are on a point right now of we have momentum. We have people representing us. We have regulators and people that are, friendly to us. We just need more help because there's just not enough of us, unfortunately, to do it. And you don't know where that next person's going to be. That's why CCA is about grassroots, people getting involved. It's all about you, the anglers. Everybody knows somebody. Nobody gets in government by not coming from one of our neighborhoods, right? So it's who you know, and it could be at your local level. It could be a school board supervisor or county board of supervisors, city council member, a mayor, whatever. It could be anybody. They start their careers at the lower levels usually and work their way up. So eventually those people are your neighbors, whether that is here in San Diego, Orange County, LA, it doesn't matter. They're all our neighbors somewhere. They live in our neighborhoods. So that's where we need everybody's help. Grassroots is about networking.
And I put there's a QR code on the very top right-hand corner of this podcast, gang. That's how you can get to CCA. If you don't know what CCA is or what it's all about, if you grab the QR code, you can go there. But at the end of the day, gang, it takes all of you to volunteer, but it takes money. This is a giant machine that's backed by money that you can't even believe. Like Wayne said, We go to these meetings, we do these things. We're all volunteers. We go because we care about our industry. They're all sitting behind those white plastic top tables. They're all getting paid. We're all sitting in the audience, but it has a direct effect on us. So we need help. And you can become a member of CCA. You can become a lifetime member. You can become a monthly member. There's different levels where you can be, but it all's going to help to slow this down. We just need to slow it down a little bit. Just let it slow down. Let us take a look at what's going on. Let us get some science. And that's what Wayne has done for 10 years. Before we get off of here, gang, let's all thank Wayne from the bottom of our hearts for everything he's done for all of us to keep this thing alive. And always, whenever you come on the show, Wayne, you explain everything so eloquently, unlike Captain Dave, who's just like, hey, we got to slow this thing down. Get involved with CCA, gang. Get involved. And watch this meeting on the 12th of February. I'll be talking about it every day on my podcast. Tomorrow morning, gang, at 9 o'clock, we're going to have Andy Cates joining us from the Red Rooster 3. He's getting ready to start his Riviera trips up into Adolfo's Lopez Mateos to see the gray whales and hang out on the beautiful Red Rooster 3 in Adolfo's Lopez Mateos and drive up and down to the mangroves on that big, giant, beautiful long-range boat with a beautiful room. And so Andy will be joining us tomorrow morning to talk about that. We'll bring him on for a few weeks to talk about it on Saturdays, just to get you guys all fired up so we can get everybody down there to see those whales in the lagoons. It's pretty bitchin'. And Deckhand Sports, Dave Farron and the gang over at Deckhand Sports, thank you for the great videos. Thanks for letting us show all these great videos. And thanks for being a part of your Saltwater Guide. You guys can see Dave and the gang. He'll be at the PCS show then on the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Orange County Fairgrounds. And I think we got a place to have our party on Saturday night, gang. I think we just found a spot. I'll know more about it this afternoon, and we'll make an announcement about it as we get the spot locked in. But it's going to be Saturday night on the 8th. We're going to have a Your Saltwater Guide party, and I think we got a good place to have it at. So,
Woohoo! Looking forward to that, Dave.
Heck yeah, Kelly and I buying all the food and drinks. Yeah, Wayne, you better take advantage of that.
Party time.
Yes, sir. But yeah, anything else you got to add before we end this, Wayne?
Oh man, you guys join CCA California at ccacalifornia.org. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. We need your help. Support us, guys, and come to the events. My whole goal the last 9 years is that we go to an event. It's fun. You may learn something. You may win something. Everybody wins because you're joining CCA Cal and you're staying involved. So anything you can do to help us is always going to be beneficial. We need help with fundraising always because it's expensive to do this work. And then, hey, thanks to Deckhand Sports, guys. Man, those kill bags are awesome. They work. They're a great sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you all very, very much. Elliot, thanks for producing another fantastic show. Wayne, thanks for taking time out of your retirement to jump on my silly little podcast. I appreciate you. We only had about, we're up to 4,000 views on Facebook already just on this silly little podcast today. So hopefully you all help us. Let's get the word out there. Let's try to keep this sandbass thing off the table, please. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Turn off the news. They're all lying. And I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Bye.